guys, welcome back to this channel. If you are new here, my name is Samira Sani and I'm a graduate student at the Norwegian University of Life Sciences. In my previous video, I mentioned that it's important to look out for certain features when you are selecting schools, including the country you want to travel to, the program of your interest and all that. It's very important for you to know those things, most especially where your interest lies. So in today's video, we will focus more on how to shortlist schools, the things you have to look for when you are shortlisting schools. First on my list is the GPA or CWA limit of the school. You would want to know this because it helps you know whether you will qualify or you have a chance in this school. Some have like the highest GPA limits, others have lower, so you need to consider all these things when you are shortlisting a school. This gives you a realistic assessment of your application. For instance, it helps you know that, okay, fine, this school that I apply to, their limit is this. So if I had this, maybe I shouldn't waste money applying or waste time applying to that school. I should focus on maybe a different school and all that. So it gives you a realistic assessment of whatever you are or the school you are applying to. It is very important for you to check the GPA limit. You don't want to waste money and your time on a school that wouldn't accept you in the first place, because that's very relevant in applying to schools abroad. Number 2 on my list is the test scores. You need to look out for this because there are some schools that would prefer you write these test scores, GRE, the TOEFL and IELTS, all those test exams, English exams and all that. So you need to also look out for that too. These are very important. I keep saying they are important because they help you assess your application yourself even before you put it in. You check the school's requirements and you realize that fine, you need to have a certain score, or maybe they don't even need it. So it's relevant for you to know what the school requires of you so that you don't waste your time or waste your money on applying to a school that wouldn't even consider your application in the first place. Most importantly, you need to look out for the expenses involved in the school you want to attend. You don't just choose a school and you be like, oh, this school, it feels good and all that, so I just want to apply. Look at where it is. Look at the school's tuition fees, accommodation. All these, you need to consider them before you apply to a school. There's no point wasting your time in just applying to a school because you feel like you have a chance there. You might go and then you will struggle financially. So it is important for you to look out for these things. Look out for if they have scholarship opportunities for students, or maybe they have part-time jobs and all that, or the country offers you the opportunity to do a part-time work. You don't want to fall victim to a situation where you go to school and then you have to be thinking so much about your finances and all that, and you might end up not achieving the goals you set for yourself. So it is important for you to look at the expenses involved in applying to that school. It might be the application fee, which is maybe if you're applying to 10 schools and you realize that if I apply to all these 10, I'm going to pay 100 euros for all of them. You might want to consider all these things. Look at cheaper schools where you can apply and not pay for application fees, or you can get a waiver for that. So you need to look out for them. You apply to a school, you don't check their fees. You just apply and then you get admission. And you are now wondering how you are going to pay for your fees and all that, and you realize they don't even have scholarships, or that country you want to go to don't even offer students the opportunity to do a part-time work or something to support themselves. So it is relevant you check out the expenses. This is one of the most important things you need to check. You don't want to be stranded in a different country, so you just want to check these things. Check them and make sure you know before you waste your time or you waste your energy. You get admission, you'll be talking to them and all that, and it's like there's nothing they can do about it, and you just have to wait another year and apply and all that. You want to avoid this, so check out for the expenses involved. For instance, Norway is an expensive country. So if you are coming here to study, You should know what you are putting yourself into. Or you can ask people who have already been in the country or in the system and they know what's going on and all that. Ask them, how is the living expenses like and all that. You can even just search on Google, you'll find information on all these things. So it is important you check out these things before you apply to any school abroad. This leads me to the fourth point, which talks about scholarships. So you need to make sure, if you can't afford to study abroad and all that, you need to make sure the schools you're applying to have available scholarships for you, or maybe external scholarships. Sometimes it might not be from the school, maybe from the country you are coming from. There are some open scholarship for students to study abroad and all that. You can look out for those things. For instance, in Ghana, we have the Ghana Secretariat Scholarship. You can go to their website and check out the opportunities over there. You can apply to them, and there's a way of getting funding for your school. So it is important to check out for these scholarships. Some schools also offer scholarship. For instance, in Canada, when you apply, they have different types of scholarship, which can be in graduate assistantships or teaching assistantships and all that. So you need to check out for these things, these scholarships, before you apply. And there are some schools you apply and then there are no scholarships to help you support you or to help you fund your school. So it is better you check out these scholarships, know what you are getting yourself into before you apply for the school. For instance, in Norway, they don't offer any kind of sponsorship for you. When we came, it was a free education, so you don't have to pay fees, but you have to work for 20 hours to take care of your accommodation, your daily expenses and all that. So you need to look out for these. Check if they have scholarship. If they don't, find other alternatives. It is better to know all these than to get yourself stranded or be sorry at the long run. Also, number 5 on the list is to check out for the deadlines of the school. It's relevant for you to know when they open applications and then when it's closed. Mostly when you apply early, you have the chances of maybe getting scholarship and all that. And some schools will state that, yeah, if you apply early, you have a chance of getting selected for a scholarship. I'm not saying you will get a scholarship, I'm saying you will have a chance to get selected for a specific scholarship or whatever it may be. You need to look out for the deadlines and all that. It's good you prepare your application early so that you avoid the rush of having to go through your application harshly and just mess up everything. The deadlines are important. You need to look out for them. Note them somewhere. Write the school's name. Write the deadline. This is their deadline. This is the requirement. Look at all those things. Make sure you don't miss them, because you might be interested in a school and then by the time you realize they've closed admission and all that. So you need to note that, put it down. Make sure it's on your number 1 list. The deadline of the school's application is on your list. Don't forget to add that, because it's very important. There are other things you might also want to look at. For instance, the reputation of the school or the ranking. This might not be necessary for some people, but it's important in certain ways. There are stories of people who went to Canada to do their masters, and after they were done with their masters, they realized they can't stay in the country or they can't apply for the postgraduate work permit, which allows them to stay there after school because of the school they attended. So you need to look out for these things. Make sure you know all these before you apply to the school. Know what you are getting yourself into. It is relevant you do than be sorry later. I keep saying there are certain petty things that you might not look out for, but it's very important you check them and then make sure you put them on your list before you even apply to the school. So before I end the video, I also want to share a few tips concerning this shortlisting of schools. And it has to do with ranking the schools by yourself, not by the institution. So you rank them. I would say you can rank them in 3 ways. The first way is the safe schools, the in-between schools, and the ambitious schools. So the safe schools are the schools you know that, you have a 90% chance of getting into. So those ones, you put in your everything, you apply. you know that by all means you are getting into that school, you have a good GPA, you meet almost every requirement that's on the school's website. So those schools are mostly safe schools for you. You apply them, you know you have like a chance of getting admission there. And then there are the in-between schools. The in-between schools, maybe you have like 60 or 70% chance of getting in. So I'm not saying you don't have to put effort into all of them, but you have to know which schools are safe for you, which schools are the in-between or the ambitious. The ambitious can be the Ivy League schools, where you know that this is very, very competitive, but you still want to try, you still want to push harder. There is no harm in trying. Push harder whichever school you want to just apply. Know that you also have a chance of going there. But these ambitious schools, sometimes it's like a 50-50 chance you might get in or you might not get in. So you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure you are looking somewhere. If it's an Ivy League school you want to attend, apply to that, but also look at some other schools as well, the in-betweens and the safe schools. At least that way you don't have to waste a year staying at home and waiting for another year to apply and all that. So you just make a list of them, you group them: ambitious, in-between, and safe. So you know that even if you don't get the ambitious schools, the in-betweens are there or the safer schools are there. So make sure you know these things, you group them. You don't have to apply to one school. You can do as many as you want. I wish I knew this before, because I stayed home for 2 years. I wish I knew this before even applying to school. So I was so much focused on this is the school I want to go, and I kept applying and they kept refusing me. I didn't know why. I kept asking questions. Why am I not getting into the school? And then they'll give me a general overview of why I'm not getting in and all that. But it's important you do not put your eggs in one basket. If you want to go to Canada, you apply to schools in Canada, but try other places as well. Apply to schools there. If you don't get the ones in Canada, you might end up going to a different country, which you might end up loving. So it's important you choose other schools as well. You don't have to so much focus on one school and this is all I want to do, so this is all I'm going. You can get other good programs, equally good programs in other places. So just check out the schools, group them, and know where your strengths and weaknesses lies, and then it's way easier to let things flow that way. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you take some of the things I mentioned in consideration when you are searching for schools or when you are shortlisting schools for your graduate application and all that. See you in our next video.